Graduates of the class of winter 2020, honored guests, faculty and staff, parents and friends, welcome to the Philip Merrill College of Journalism commencement ceremony. I'm Lucy Dalglish, Dean of Merrill College. Today, we are proud to honor the men and women who have completed the requirements for the degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Journalism, the Graduate Certificate in Multimedia Journalism, and the Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. We are especially pleased to honor two students who have completed the ultimate degree offered by this university, the Doctor of Philosophy. Following in the footsteps of many previous PhD graduates at Merrill College, our two doctoral graduates this semester researched the extent to which journalism in other countries represents and supports democracy. Hua Thanh Nguyen studied media coverage of climate change in Vietnam, and Prashant Bhatt, who is now on the faculty of Eastern Connecticut State University, examined media criticism by right-wing alternative media in India. We wish we could be together today to celebrate all of you and honor you for everything you accomplished and achieved during your time with us. You are extraordinary people living in extraordinary times, and you have proven that you can adapt, that you can even thrive as journalists. You have learned some skills that a year ago, none of us journalists even knew they needed. Who knew you could cover an election and cover it well from your bedroom? Who knew you could produce a nightly newscast using a camera the size of my fist? Because of your knowledge of technology and innovative reporting methods, you are able to cover stories in very creative ways. As the coronavirus upended 2020, you did not miss a beat. The work you did during the incredibly difficult times on our Howard Center for Investigative Journalism projects and the Capitol News Service election coverage was exceptional. You helped the Howard Center put together a successful deep dive into homelessness through an unprecedented collaboration between 7 university journalism programs spanning the country. Those stories have been published by news organizations from coast to coast. I hope you got a thrill out of seeing your bylines in the Seattle Times and the Raleigh News and Observer. Despite the pandemic keeping you from reporting in person, you found ways to make it all work, churning out dozens of stories, photos, videos, and graphics. This was truly impactful journalism. The stories you reported and broadcast you produced on Election Day were thorough and informative, an experience you and I will never forget. You have overcome tragedy, uncertainty, and pain to brave one of the scariest times of all of our lives, and you should feel great pride to reach this day. We couldn't be prouder of each and every one of you. I hope that with the bad, you have been able to take plenty of good, to see that what you are made of as people and as journalists. As you leave Merrill College, what we see is a mature, intelligent, accomplished, versatile, and resilient class of graduates, a group unlike almost any to pass through College Park. You are special just to be standing where you are today, degree in hand, ready to take on whatever comes next. And we have such high hopes for what comes next. We have done all we can to prepare you not just for the working world of today, but for the world of tomorrow. And we know you'll take those lessons and run with them. Although it might be difficult to see right now, what you have endured and experienced this year is going to help you in the long run and make you the people you will become. I know that what you have learned here is going to serve you well, whether you are working in a traditional newsroom, a media startup, a communications operation, a courtroom, marketing, sports, or wherever your dreams take you. You are ready. You are special. You are Merrill made. And now a video tribute to our graduates and message from our faculty, produced by talented alumnus Alex Glass.
We are so proud of you today.
The class of 2020 had to get creative to make it here.
It's astonishing to me what they've been able to accomplish.
You persisted to take on the challenges thrown at you this year.
Students graduating from Merrill College this year are tough.
You gain the skills and background to be terrific journalists, communications professionals, lawyers, entrepreneurs, or whatever else you want to be.
I know you are dedicated and determined. You are curious about what's happening around you, and you know how to get the information to explain why.
You've covered news and sports and business stories on campus and across the country.
The students here at the Merrill College, they're really serious about being not only good, but great journalists that tell important stories.
You will now join the ranks of other Merrill graduates who are on the front lines as journalists.
And becoming part of that voice that speaks truth to power and keeps our country on course in a democracy.
You might hit a few roadblocks once in a while.
You have all of us back at Merrill to help you in any way that we can.
We made a commitment to you as a freshman, and that commitment continues even after you graduate.
We're here to support you throughout your career.
We are here to help you in your work, no matter how many years ago you graduated.
Just a text message, email, or phone call away, whether you want reporting advice, a job connection, or just a few words of encouragement.
Where there's a story that needs to be told, you are likely to find a fellow Merrill alum.
And once students leave here, they become part of that network.
You'll be joining an incredible group of Merrill graduates.
Merrill College graduates have access to a sprawling network of alumni who are doing great journalism around the world. They want to hear from you, and they stand ready to help.
So please, take advantage of it.
About to go in and do one of my other jobs, which is to be a panelist on ESPN's Around the Horn. We're going to walk into an office that's populated by Merrill College graduates.
What makes a Merrill-made graduate special?
Merrill-made graduates are news hounds, skilled at sniffing out what's important and true.
They have a work ethic and a positive attitude that's contagious.
They think of stories nobody else has thought of to tell.
They want to be great journalists.
They take the craft of journalism very seriously. And I think that's what really is an attribute of Merrill-made journalism.
And they're not afraid to walk away from traditional methods to find new ways to get information out to the public.
They can do it with data and code, on air or on app, with camera or phone.
Merrill-made graduates are tough, they're enterprising, and you're all problem solvers.
We want to see you succeed, and we're going to help you in every way that we can.
You made it to graduation while enduring the most trying senior year most of us could have imagined. And you and your family deserve to be proud today.
We can't wait to see what you do after you graduate.
Please share your victories.
Congratulations, Merrill graduates.
Congratulations. Do great journalism.
And if anyone ever had any doubt, you all are proof that Merrill-made graduates are tough.
Before we introduce our commencement speakers, we'd like to honor longtime Merrill College professor and former Dean Kevin Close. Kevin will be retiring at the end of this semester after serving as our dean from 2009 to 2012, and as professor of journalism, teaching journalism as literature, ethics, and leadership courses for Merrill College and for the university's honors program. Kevin joined Merrill College after an incredible journalism career that included stops as president and president emeritus of NPR, 2 separate tours as president and CEO of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty in Munich and Prague, and 25 years as an editor and reporter at the Washington Post, including serving as Moscow bureau chief during the Cold War. Personally, I thank Kevin for his thoughtful advice, gracious demeanor, and insight into the job of a dean, something only a former dean can understand. Kevin, we were so fortunate to have you here to impart your wealth of journalism knowledge to our students. Thank you so much for all you accomplished at Merrill College.
Thank you, Dean Lucy Douglas, and faculty and staff of the Philip Merrill College of Journalism for your advice, your support, and your friendship during my 10 years here. First, I came as a dean for several years, and then as a tenured professor, from which appointment I will retire at the end of this year. I will be taking with me splendid memories of scores of energetic student journalists and students from the Honors College coming to Knight Hall, which is the wonderful operating base for the Philip Merrill College of Journalism. These students came to prepare themselves for what was coming ahead, and preparing especially for the lively challenges that surely await all of you. Guided with wisdom and support from Lucy, moving swiftly to the very forefront of American journalism, the Philip Merrill College stands at the forefront of American journalism education. It is said it is possible to say, in earlier times in the history of this country, journalism, accurate, verifiable, multimedia kinds of journalism, whether in a paper or a book or a remembrance or a letter, this journalism responded to the needs of our self-inventing democracy, which is that fact and verifiable fact is indispensable to our present and our future. It will guide us safely as we move forward as a country and as a leader of great, valuable, enterprising nations. Thank you, and hail and farewell.
And now our commencement speaker, Chrissa Thompson. Chrissa earned her master's degree from Merrill College in 2002, and this year was named the Washington Post's first managing editor of diversity and inclusion. She is also the first Black woman to hold the title managing editor at the Post, as well as the first to appear in the newspaper's masthead. She has been at the Post since 2001, serving as an intern, a business reporter, and a style section editor. She has covered presidential campaigns, the First Lady's office, politics, and culture, and has written about civil rights and race. Thank you for being with us, Chrissa.
Hello, University of Maryland graduates, and thank you to Dean Dalgish for the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to address you, the future practitioners of our craft. Like you, I wish we were together on campus to celebrate this important occasion. We all know that 2020 has been a year filled with hardship for so many. That has made it even more important for those of us who are able to take the time to pause and be grateful for our health and the milestones we are marking. Commencement is one such milestone for you, class of 2020. So again, congratulations, and congratulations to the parents, professors, mentors, and friends who helped you along the way. Joining you for graduation is a high honor. I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about the industry you will enter and the crucial importance of diversity and inclusion in journalism. Our newsrooms desire to comprehensively and incisively cover our nation and the world. To do that well and with depth, we need to be places that look like the communities that we cover, and we need to include perspectives from those communities in our conversations about coverage. That means approaching every story and situation with an abundance of curiosity. What don't we know? What are we missing? Who can we ask? And importantly, newsrooms must also look internally and ask how we can include more voices at the table. How can we diversify our ranks to be sure that our storytelling is reflective of the rich diversity of our nation? In America, our narratives are interwoven. We are a tapestry of many stories. It's a rich tapestry, and as journalists, we should always strive to reflect that richness back to our readers and viewers. We know that today's media landscape is shifting every nanosecond. We can't be stubborn about doing things the way we have always done them. Progress demands persuading the best to be better. So, I encourage us to think creatively about our field. That's where you come in. Building the newsrooms of the future requires all of us working together and sharing these values to continue to move forward. Let me talk a little bit about the Post to share my vision for our industry. The Washington Post is investing heavily in its newsroom and is producing more high-quality journalism on more topics than ever before. We have more readers than we've ever had in our history. The future of journalism is bright, but that has not come easily. Our industry has undergone major cultural change during the 20 years I've been a working journalist. When I joined the Post in 2001 as a summer intern, our website was a separate entity from our print newsroom. They were in different office buildings, in different states, if you can believe it. We've since become one newsroom, and we are a vibrant, digital-first news organization. That required major cultural change. We had to think differently about how we did our jobs. The news cycle was no longer working toward a 6 p.m. deadline every evening, but nimbly responding to news as it happened, getting that news in front of our audiences when they wanted it. It meant creating new story forms. We launched blogs and verticals. We are now investing in visual storytelling, and we see that as crucial to the future of journalism. We have award-winning video and audio operations, all undergirded by teams that are constantly thinking about our audience and how we can best serve and inform readers and subscribers. Now, as our nation, and quite frankly, the entire world, grapples with the racial inequities that exist in our society, we must embark on similar cultural change to build more diverse newsrooms. We have to be nimble and creative in addressing this change, just as we were when we experienced the earth-shaking transition from print newspaper to digital news operation. If we are all working together to build a diverse and inclusive journalism industry, we can get there. The power of a unified Post newsroom first struck me after the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001. Watching the Post journalists mobilize to tell that critical story was awe-inspiring. I've seen it again and again. The hum of the newsroom on election night, the collaboration of reporters and editors across the newsroom to produce award-winning series and projects. We have to engage journalists across the industry and keep our craft and storytelling central in order to mobilize toward this new goal. We must think about serving our audiences. This moment calls for the same kind of all hands on deck commitment to diversity and inclusion that we throw at big stories. If we do that, we can ensure that we are primed to tell the big stories of our generation and the next. Thank you. And again, congratulations on your achievement.
And now for our student speaker, Cameron DeLuca. Cameron has always cherished journalism for its versatility. She has been involved in on-campus organizations, including WMUC Radio and the Diamondback. A self-described early 2000s pop culture historian, she hosted a radio program dedicated to music and nostalgia for the era. Cameron also reported on WMUC News' entertainment segment, Drop the Pop, for 2 semesters. She delved further into her radio interests in the summer of 2019 when she interned for the Border Crossings radio program of Voice of America. Cameron hopes her next adventure in journalism involves a job in social media, culture writing, or audio reporting. Cameron was selected by a vote of our graduating seniors for this much-deserved honor. It is a pleasure to have her here today as our student speaker.
Good morning to the Philip Merrill December class of 2020 and to faculty, staff, and loved ones. As we gather here for this pixelated commencement ceremony, I'm facing my biggest journalistic battle yet. Roughly 9 months into a pandemic, and I've grown all too familiar with cliches labeling these times as unprecedented, difficult, uncertain, troubling, you name it. I also pretty much only associate student graduation speeches with corny coming-of-age films, but I'll hold back from talk of reaching for the stars or saying the future is in your hands because I want to be original. And the future is in the vaccine's hands, if anything. While I may steer clear of pandemic cliches, I won't be able to omit the coronavirus from my speech completely. No one can deny the massive change it's brought to virtually all aspects of our lives. As December graduates, I think we've had enough time to come to terms with the fact that this commencement will be far from normal. And at this point, I'm grateful that I've made it here, virtually or not. I'm going to walk in my living room with immense pride, and my fellow graduates should do the same. We're graduating from college during a global pandemic. No matter how many strange quirks we may hold on to as grandparents from living through 2020, hoarding toilet paper, muttering about the chance of murder hornets, or baking lots of sourdough bread, we'll be able to counter our grandchildren's school complaints with, hey, that's enough from you. I graduated college in a pandemic. I won't feed too much into that scared voice in our heads, but it doesn't hurt to admit how terrifying it is to jump into the real world right now. But strangely enough, I'm finding this uncertainty a little less scary than I expected. The pandemic has totally refined my perspective of things. I've grown to find victories in battles that you normally wouldn't even consider a battle. The way I see it is, if you're able to accomplish any semblance of normalcy in these times, that's worth recognizing and celebrating. So your GPA is lower compared to a semester where everything felt less apocalyptic. If you and your loved ones are staying healthy, that's still a victory in my eyes. And after months of emotional exhaustion brought on by the disappointments of 2020, I have a hardened exterior to career woes. A thought I've found myself reverting back to is, if this is the biggest thing I'm worrying about right now, then I'm extremely lucky. But this isn't meant to gloss over the real hardships that a lot of us are still faced with. And this new humbled perspective isn't going to completely alleviate our fears of finding steady employment. But I think we'll feel better equipped to tackle the challenge of finding a job right now. If I could get through arguably some of the most emotionally challenging months in my life, I'll be able to handle the job hunt. And not to get too dark here, but compare a job rejection email to the seemingly never-ending flow of news we've gotten. It sort of pales in comparison. So despite the whirlwind of changes that mid-March 2020 brought on, so many of my peers continued to cover the news with great determination, for on-campus organizations and internships. We had to cover a global event that affected us as well. And that 1 week in March, so full of change that it felt months long, I had to react as both a human and as a member of the engagement desk for the Diamondback. It's a strange mix of emotions to experience. First comes that utter disbelief at how fast things had escalated in just a matter of days. Then came the urgency of getting this news out to multiple social media platforms. Looking back now, the resilience of my peers in these moments completely humbled me. Some were out-of-state students having to scramble with getting home last minute, and others had to cope with the worries for their immunocompromised loved ones. But they still managed to cover that news. So whatever 2021 may throw at us, I hope we can carry forth that hardened exterior in the best way possible. As Michael Scott from The Office put it, sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way. In all seriousness, we should be proud of what we've accomplished in the face of adversity. And as up in the air as 2021 and our career prospects may seem, may we all find some clarity along the way. Thank you.
And now to present our student award winners. The Outstanding Broadcast News Senior Award goes to Zachary Blake Solon. The Outstanding Multimedia News Senior Award goes to Benjamin Nathan Gonzalez. The Outstanding Master's Student Award goes to Brenda Wintrode. Class of Winter 2020, we are so proud of you. We can't wait to see what you're going to do in the future. And now, one last time, here is a look at our graduates for Winter 2020.